Hello to anyone who's watching this. You're watching a game that was arranged through the Gauntlet, which is a community on the internet that gets together and plays tabletop role-playing games online. You can find the Gauntlet at gauntlet-rpg.com, where you find all sorts of things that they do involving tabletop role-playing games, such as blogs, forums. There's the zine that the Gauntlet puts out, named Codex, which usually contains supplements to existing games and original games in itself. Sometimes games published on Codex become are springboarded to like bigger successes. Like you might have heard of Trophy RPG, that both in its dark and gold versions that stemmed from Codex, which is published by the Gauntlet. It's accessible through their Patreon. There's also the podcasting network that the Gauntlet does. There's also the community open gaming weekend, which is kind of like opening up the calendar to folks who are not normally part of the Gauntlet community. The next weekend is on the 25th of February to the 28th. Basically, that last weekend February, and lots of stuff involving indie tabletop role playing games. Probably the biggest thing Gauntlet has at gauntlet-rpg.com is the Gauntlet calendar, to which this game and many other games are arranged. Hold on, cough is coming up. Give me a moment. Sorry about that. This game is the third in this month's series of Apocalypse Keys, which is a powered by the Apocalypse game of doomed monsters, harbingers of the apocalypse, working together under a mysterious organization to hold back the dark and reach out amongst each other because who else can they better relate to than their fellow monsters? It's heavily influenced by Hellboy, and it is written by Jamila Najari. They of Balikbayan and all sorts of many different games. Again, there'll be a link down below to check out Apocalypse Keys, which is currently out in beta. But yeah, we've been knee deep in the mystery. Let's get like a reminder what our monsters were doing last session as they kind of introduce themselves. Um, let's go left to right from the character keeper. So Mario, why don't you introduce yourself, your character, and what they did last time?
Yeah, hey, my name is Mario, and I'm playing Cameron Sweettooth. Cameron is a large crocodile humanoid creature with an appetite for sweets, as their name will tell. And last we saw Cameron, he had, um, yeah, he felt real sorry for Hope. Um, and he had to take care of a human that got trapped in a ghost. Um, and everything seemed to become way sadder and way more difficult that Cameron anticipated. And this might be the most disorienting and the most terrifying case he ever worked on, because there clearly is some betrayal, some sort of betrayal coming up, because as far as he can tell, the contractor that hired them is about to betray them. So Cameron is very worried about the safety of everyone involved.
One wonders if Cameron will be able to come back to Wizard World with a clean conscience ever again. It's a shame. Yeah, it turns out it's easier to fight ghosts than to have an emotional heart to heart with your friend. Um, so clearly, well, we'll see what Cameron does today. Up next, Sabine, why don't you introduce yourself and character and what they were up to last time?
I am Sabina, I use any pronouns, and I am playing a shard who uses the pure playbook. And last time they started out in a World War One inspired. No, it wasn't World War One inspired. It was afterwards. It was a merry old England, nice little English village that somehow reminded him of the cottage they might have grown up when they were back in World War One. Maybe a soldier. Shard does not remember a lot of his human past before his lover, probably Cassandra, did a thing that made them, well, basically a monster that can transform their flesh into anything they want. And that's what they did in the cottage village thingy. And that looked, afterwards, it looked a bit like a World War One village. But yeah. Anyway, then they were gathered up by Cameron and the poor civilian girl, who was not at all traumatized by the whole bone bullet stuff that was going on. And then there was a lot of planning, or not a lot, there was a bit of planning. And then they went off with Una to confront, I think, or to investigate the wizard in the tower. What was his name? Alex something.
Alexander Payton. Yes.
Alexander Payton, right? Exactly. And then they got to talking, and I forget something. I'm pretty sure I made a deal with this entity that has taken a hold of me, or I have taken a hold of him. I'm not entirely sure. Surtur and Surtur. I wanted to. I wanted to have a feeling for the power structure of this place and where the ley lines went and stuff like that. And they said, yeah, go ahead. And they wanted something from me, but I forget what that was.
Oh, they literally wanted a piece of you. Like they literally took a piece of you.
Oh, right. Yeah, well, okay. I've got enough pieces anyway. And then I think I saw that the person who had told us to come here, Ophelia Murphy, who I knew from a previous case, that she was part of this power structure, basically. So,
yeah. Just to clarify, you saw like. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, good thing that Hope and Cameron are going to talk to her.
Yeah. That'll be fine.
I mean, we have phones, right? This is the 21st century. We can totally call them and tell them the whole thing. Or we did already, did we? Yeah. Sorry.
I think what I'm gonna say is like them meeting Ophelia is gonna happen concurrently to you talking to Alexander Payton, so you won't have a chance. Not just yet.
Okay.
Well, actually, no, they were having a very heartfelt and difficult conversation while you two went straight to the wizard. So maybe you can still call them. But we only know in this introduction one of them. Who's the other half? Brandon, why don't you introduce yourself and your character and what they were up to last time?
Hello, I'm Brandon. Usually, and I am playing a character using the last playbook, whose name is Hope, and who is essentially a time-traveling replicant. Last time she was here, she had a very difficult moment with Una and her own images in the Hall of Mirrors, and struggled against what the darkness desired her to do. She and Una subsequently fought a number of ghosts that were let out of the ride, and I'll let Una tell the rest of that. And then she had a discussion with Cameron when Cameron asked about whether the Lizardmen invasion of Earth was going to succeed, which Hope said that it would, unless he did something to prevent it, essentially, and that the only way that she could definitely see out of it was for him to find somebody else of his blood to take the crown instead of him. And he only knew of his sister, who would be awful to cede the crown to for many unimportant reasons. And so that was that was a terrible bit of trouble down the way, centuries down the way, but even so.
Yeah.
So since then, she and Cameron are now going to confront, I think might be the better term, Miss Murphy regarding goings on, which she seems to know more about than she originally let on.
Yeah, I wonder what she's up to. Well, that's for you. That's for y'all to consider because next character probably has different concerns. Don't know. Why don't you introduce yourself and your character?
Thanks, Andrew. Yeah, my name is Donna. My pronouns are he, him. And tonight I'm playing Una, the Fallen. They are, I guess, an angel who's been cast out of heaven and is doing fine. Thank you very much. They, I guess, the awkward pep talk with Hope aside, Una then got into this strange, well, confrontation with those ghosts who had come out of the roller coaster and demanded that they worship them and set them up in this kind of stalactite cathedral where they had impaled or skewered themselves out of the ceiling. So that was all wholesome and not at all worrying. And after that, Shard and Una went to see the wizard. And I guess we are skirting with this whole dark promise of his that his goal is pretty close to Una's heart, which is to kick down the doors of heaven and to take over. Won't that be wonderful?
Yeah, all you have to do is go to the boardwalk and steal and destroy a trinket that's keeping him here. That's all you have to do. Okay, so before we jump into play, I want to remind folks of the safety tools that we're using. We've already had a look through our lines and veils, which, for those who don't know, lines are things that won't be crossed, won't show up in the fiction. Veils are things that can happen in fiction, but we're not going to concentrate on it like it happens off screen, or we're just not going to concentrate like it is a fade to black. We're also using script change, which is a bunch of commands that we use to like help modulate the play. We're kind of mostly using the ones here on the right. They're like the most pertinent. When you call for a rewind, you back up to a specific point in the scene to do it over again, avoiding whatever issue led to the rewind. And it could be any issue, could be a name, could be the tone of the scene, or even just like the entire scene itself. You don't have to explain what your issue is. I might ask some questions on what the issue is, but if a rewind is called, we'll respect back and try something else. Fast forward is when you want to fade to black and advance time as needed to avoid content or moments of play. Like, when basically we know something's going to happen, we don't need to linger on it. We can like call for a fast forward and we don't need to concentrate on it. And there's pause, which you call for a variety of reasons, like say if you need a break from intense scene, or take a bio break, or if you want clarity or discussion from the game content. It's part of the open door policy. That's part of this table, where basically at any point, if y'all need to step away from the table for any reason, whether there's an emergency to take care of, or you're more tired than you thought, or you need to go to the toilet, you can call for pause and we'll accommodate yourselves. Okay, so let's zoom in on Cameron and Hope, partially because Hope has a start of session move, and also because we ended last session with Shard and Una talking to the wizard. I mean, he's not called he was in a wizard's tower. He's a wizard, I guess. So if I remember correctly, Cameron and Hope we're heading off to Spaceport, the futuristic side of Wizard World. I would say this is where all like the big thrill rides are. There's like a drop tower where you just kind of like you get strapped to a thing and you kind of drop down from a big height. These are where like the big tall roller coasters are. I think Wizard World is advertised as having the world's steepest roller coaster drop, which is quite a record to hold, for sure.
I'd like to volunteer that it's called Gravity Well. Okay, and it has an effect like the classic bending cone of space-time that you see in black hole illustrations, with a very, with a very eerie forced perspective, then so that it looks like you're falling into infinity.
I'm down for that. Cameron, is there any ride or attraction you want to add to Spaceport?
I would like to say there is some sort where you could make your like own chocolate bars and different sorts of spaceships. So you could pick a form of a certain spaceship, maybe all quite similar to major franchises, but not quite close enough to get copyright issues, because this is quite a concern for this theme park, right? What upon seeing that, I'm like, did you hear that? That was my belly. Maybe we should check out that chocolate thing there. I've got a feeling that will help us further down the road, and quite frankly, I'm hungry. I want to get some chocolate, if that's okay.
You're always hungry. I don't know. It's strange. It's always strange to be around so many people that are not paying. That are just not paying any attention to me. Where all of my memories are of being apart, being with people who, we looked like them, but it was hammered in over and over again that we weren't, that we were not actually people, but things, bioroids, intelligent organic machinery.
Well, that already makes you people, doesn't it? I mean, some people call me reptile freak and whatnot, but we all are people after all.
Well, but that's the point, is that I'm not used to being people, because we weren't. We were to each other, but not to them. I say, gesturing at all the the crowd milling around down there. To them, we were created for a purpose, to do things, very sophisticated things, very difficult things sometimes, but we were made for a purpose, and when they were done with us, they could throw us away if they wanted to.
But then I'm glad you ended up here, because apparently the people in this timeline frankly seem to think of you as one of their own.
No, they don't.
Look at them. Well, they don't pay attention, so they don't judge you.
Yeah,
Isn't
they just don't.
You want?
They just don't know any better, because they can't conceive that anybody like me exists, because we don't yet. I hope that and maybe this is a terrible thing to hope, but I hope that they know what it feels like to be treated like they don't matter. Just for a while.
Okay, let me stop you there. there is a whole
This is a move.
phenomenon amongst the humans that is called drama, and that is all about them not feeling like they belong to their kind. For
You see,
example,
but
did you check out Romeo and Juliet? That is some famous thing. It's on television all the
I
time.
know some things like that, and they're laughable. The closest thing that they've got here in their history is some short periods of history of slavery. And even those, you know, even at the worst times, they never quite treated them as things. They treated them as inferior, categorically inferior, things that people could be bought and sold, but they were still people. They weren't things. If you look at me inside, you know, I'm synthetic.
Let's roll this move.
So what? I mean, after all,
I'm going to roll this move. We're in a red mood today, so. So select them. I'm going to use 2 darkness. And that's a 10.
Ooh. Oh wow! All right, so you're still in the good. On 8 to 10, choose 2 of out of the 3 choices from a flickering hope.
It's I don't know, Cameron. It's a little bit it makes me feel a little bit like what some of what Una was saying about being cast out, about feeling that they were still just like the people who had thrown them out, but they were no longer considered to be the same kind of entity anymore. And I'll take a bond. And then the other thing is I'm going to, I'm not going to describe too much because I've been describing, but that's the problem with making something. Did you ever read the story Frankenstein?
That would have been my next touchstone, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because that's what I feel like, with all the crazy teeth and scales and whatnot. I mean, you at least
except you
look like a human.
Yeah, but it's not about looks. For Frankenstein, I mean, Frankenstein was ugly, even horrible, but it wasn't about that. The problem with Frankenstein is Frankenstein says at one point something like, "You made me, so you cannot avoid responsibility for me." And that's what's going to be the downfall of humanity, or my sisters, is that they're going to make us, and then what are they going to do with us? And something like that is going on here. They are making people, and they won't just be able to throw them away when they're done without some pretty terrible consequences. And I'll gain a key to the apocalypse.
exactly what the key is. As the two of you are walking towards the chocolate making stand,
Yeah. Then
you
we go
turn a corner
get some
and
chocolate. Yes.
you find the stand, but it's next to an attraction that's new that neither of you have seen before. Last time you were in Wizard World, it's called hmm, more. I think it's called something along the lines of a view into the future, and it's like a show building. That's kind of like a diorama of here's what living could look like, not like the Walt Disney sense of like trying to figure out what the living is like 40 years from now, but this is like more like 100 years from now, or 200 years from now, and I think to you, Hope, it's very familiar. Like it's almost like it came out of your memories.
They have
How-
androids there, don't they?
Yeah. They're not.
Yeah.
They're androids who look exactly like you. They're kind of like demonstrating what this living room of the future is.
I freeze up and stare.
Cameron, how you doing?
Hope, I don't want to rush you, but I'm really hungry. Could we please go make some chocolate spaceships?
Go ahead.
And
I'll be ready.
yeah, the thing is, I clearly getting hangry right now. I'm not really paying attention to you.
Sure.
To your
Sure.
mood. So
I'll be
you sure
right.
you don't want to come with me? Should I bring you something?
Oh yeah, bring me one. That's great.
Okay. Yeah, just give me a sec. I'll be back. And I got like this
Hope
broad
nods. Hope
smile.
nods and can't take her eyes off of the moving diorama.
Before like we do a quick cut to the other two, I want to give Cameron this like feeling. This you notice something as you kind of like walk to like the stand. When you walk into spaceport and you're just talking around, it's almost like there's a reset. Like you wouldn't know in spaceport that there had been ghosts with your face on it flying about in the other park, in the other themed land. It's almost like business as usual here in spaceport. Like it's it's a day for an amusement park to be open. So I'll give you that feeling as you go get chocolate. Wonder where Ophelia is. Let's cut to the other two. So last we left you two, Shard, Una. Shard, you've been given the sight of Surtur. I guess that would be how it's described, I guess. And yeah, you see that like a lot of magical power is kind of goes up into this tower, to where the wizard Alexander Payton is, and it's like these filigree, soft yellow ley lines, kind of like spreading almost like roots from the tower throughout the park. But you see Ophelia's power offset that. It's like this. Sorry, that's my phone there making a noise. It's this like this weird sickly purple, and you can see like Ophelia is like clearly cut off from the rest of whatever power is running through here. Like most of the magical power in, besides the ones you recognize, which is like if you look at Una. Actually, I want to ask you, what Una, what would Shard see? What kind of what would their power look like? Because you've built a shrine of a place of worship in this park now, so it'll probably be obvious to Shard.
When I think the hints of their of those wings around them made of light and sound are, I think, the entirety of Una when Shard looks at them with this kind of magical sight. The physical body is really not there at all. But I think it's the kind of light that you might have if you have a migraine or something. You know, it's blinding and just way too much. And, you know, even when you close your eyes, it's like searing itself into your retina.
Oh, nice. I think Shard stares at Una a bit, and then they say, "Yes, I can see why that might be perfect. I have to think about that." And the eyes grow a bit brighter just to counteract the brightness of Una's light, I guess. So you can totally see that something's going on there, Una. Because I don't know you don't know Shard that well, but they never have exhibited any kind of firepower or anything before. So, well, anyway, they say we need to find these people who got lost, right? That is why we came. Or do we want to stop the wizard once and for all?
I mean, we're right in front of him, right? So is that a question Shard is asking, or is that just like or established?
Oh, I think the
story?
wizard is gone. They've like poof.
Oh, they had sorry, they had disappeared.
They've poofed away.
They poofed away. Sorry, I forgot. Yeah, I maybe we need to untangle his plans a little bit before we confront him again.
Seems. Sorry, yeah, that's what happens when you Google Pinterest stuff. Makes noise. So yeah, I think that Shard lost you for a bit. Just like, oh yes, untangle. Okay, let's untangle then. The power of the wizard is concentrated there. I can see it.
What's the
Should we go
attraction?
look?
What's the attraction where that power is concentrated? I want to know, Shard. What are you looking at?
The attraction, I think there is a slide that goes down from the wizard's tower, and it's in the railings. These things have railings, I hope. At least it's in the railings where people will clutch when they get when they're half afraid and half excited and all this ecstasy and this fear that goes through this pipe that concentrates there. I think that's powerful.
There better be railings, otherwise they just call this sprite Lawsuit City.
And that's somewhere else.
Yeah, no, deserting wizard would be safety conscious. Anyway, what are you two up to?
So should we go look at the slide?
Yeah, let's go and see if we can. Maybe there's some kind of magical artifice there that's siphoning power out of everyone who rides it.
I would assume so. Yes. I think there's something that Ophelia might have wanted to stop, but I don't think she has.
The fun thing is that like you can profess any theory about what's happening, and we won't find out until you unlock Doom's door. But yeah, you can go to the slide, and it looks like a slide. It's a bit precarious because that wizard tower is quite tall. But again, you get this like weird sensation that the other two are feeling, and that like as a business is settling into normality. Also, I forgot who took Mary along. Which group took Mary?
Cameron.
Okay, cool. All right. So yes, she's awkwardly social distancing away from them out of like, not because the thing is it's also tense and awkward and weird, and she doesn't know what the deal is happening there.
Better the monster I think is is Mary's philosophy right now.
I think we flew up to the tower. We had both had wings, so she couldn't have come if she had wanted to.
I think just to like give you like more visual sense of the tower, like yeah, it's like, you know, it's jutting out of the mountain. It's kind of like this big oval kind of shape with a big pointy top. And yeah, there's like a slide jutting out. It's wrapped around the tower shaft. That's where kids are that are sliding in. You will see that like there are parts of like the wizard tower that's clearly open, and you can see like people lining up to do the slide. But there are like windows are like not just like barred shut, but almost like barricaded shut. Like there are like iron grills over them. There are like decorative gargoyles perched over every window. It's quite a menacing wizard's tower up here. What do you do?
Should we get to the top?
Yeah, I think maybe some experimental, maybe an experiment is what's required. You know, if we ride the slide ourselves, maybe we'll see exactly what it's trying to do. I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
I have many ideas, but let's try it.
Okay, so do you fly up and just kind of like get rid of the wings and just get in line?
Yeah, I mean, if Cameron is to believed, this kind of thing might be fun.
Mhm.
Sadly, Cameron has never experienced this ride because it's not built for him.
Yeah, you need to be smaller, I guess.
You need
Oh,
to,
that
you need
means
to, you need to be human shaped
oh,
to fit.
okay,
Is what I'm saying. It's a slide, you know.
okay. I think I might need blades to slow the descent. I mean, if I could just become large enough to not fit, but
To get stuck.
to get stuck, yeah, but I don't know. There are other people, right, who are on the slide, and they would hit me, and then there would be a lot of trouble. So I'd like to be able to slow down, though.
Okay. So you're testing like the magical foundation of this slide. This might be, I think this is a grasping for keys, since you're using your powers of darkness to gather info.
Totally.
Remind folks you are at, let's see, how many keys are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're at 7 keys, which means if you roll Unlocking Doom's Door, it'll be a flat roll. You roll it now, but we still have some time.
I would grasp for keys, though. I mean, I've
Okay.
got the weird eyes and stuff like that, and I will spend 2 of my darkness tokens.
Oh, reminder, you have a condition that gives you a +2 to grasping keys.
Then I will spend 1 of my darkness tokens because, you're right, I'm desperate.
Yeah.
That explains why I'm taking the thing.
That's why you're on the. Yeah, that explains why you're on the slide. No. It's,
yeah.
I don't know what my excuse is.
So it's +3. So I rolled a 6 +3. It's a 9.
Oh wow!
Perfection.
Exactly. the perfect rolls keep on coming. Okay, so on an 8 to 10, you uncover a key of the apocalypse. The keeper of doors will tell you what it is. I think as you're kind of like riding the slide, you notice it. It's subtle. You wouldn't have seen it unless you're riding down the slide. But mixed in that weird filigree gold lighting that's filling the slide, you can see there is a single purple thread that is kind of like been connected to the wizard's ley lines.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Is this the same kind of purple that we saw coming out of Ophelia? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's Ophelia.
Or going into Ophelia, I don't know.
Well, emanating from Ophelia,
yeah.
basically marking her out. It's like, oh, the weird purple stuff is Ophelia. Yeah, so that's the key. I'm gonna type that down.
Yeah, I'm looking rather humanish when I go in but there was this picture that I saw once in the cinema of a guy with scissors for hands, and I will take that for my optics when I go, because scissors are useful. They're bone scissors, so they're not really made of metal or anything, but I like this. I like this dog.
Yeah. People are probably just muttering, being like, oh, Halloween was a month and a half ago, dude. Folks are muttering. Una, what are you up to? You took the slide as well?
I
Along
think
with Shard?
inevitably I suggested it, so I must have. Maybe I just had fun instead of noticing this actual clue.
Yeah. I don't know, like, what are you up to? Like, what are y'all thinking? Specifically, Una, since, Alexander made an offer to you. You take care of his thing.
And maybe that's what I'm thinking about. Maybe we should go back, or yeah, I'm inclined to go back.
Okay, we're at a crossroads with you now.
Well, yeah. Maybe we'll switch back to the other two.
Yeah. We're nearly at like an hour, so let's take like a 7-minute break. Come back at the half-hour mark, and we'll jump back, see how Cameron's doing with his chocolate, and Una, I would hope, with her existential crisis. See how that's going. Let's come back at the half-hour mark. Cool. Okay, so cut back to spaceport. I think Cameron, and I'll kind of like give you this like more visual info. I think when you go to like the chocolate making the chocolate spaceship making like stand, you'll notice another new thing here in spaceport that when you come here before, there's an attendant who helps you with the chocolate. This time though, well, there's still an attendant, but the attendant was very clearly human. This one is very clearly like an animatronic, like kind of like droid, or like a robot that is kind of like directing people. They're like, oh, here is where you add sprinkles. Here is where you use the molding machine to create a chocotastic space adventure. Here is when you want to add that extra minty rocket fuel to take you to the moon and beyond. It's like this, like clearly kind of like it's semi-realistic, which makes it even more creepy. Kind of animatronic that is not serving the stand.
Mm-hmm. Hope has a disturbing little quiet smile on her face. Very different from where we last saw her.
So did Hope come with Mary and Cameron to the chocolate making?
She came after. Yeah, she caught up to you.
Okay, so I think
and she goes, I think I know what we need to talk to Ophelia about now. And she seems very satisfied with herself.
And you see a little bit of irritation, or like now a little bit of confusion in Cameron's look, and then it clicks, and then, oh yeah, right, Ophelia. I almost forget about her.
Let's go find her.
Is
here.
That a good idea while we've got Mary with us?
Who's Ophelia?
Mary.
No, I don't think so.
Maybe we should ask her in a turn and ask Mary. you see, the job we both are doing is not necessarily something that is safe, not even for freaks like us. So
Speak.
could you go back to your place safely, or do you need to be accompanied?
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to stay here, but we're kind of far away from the exit. And I don't really know what day it is. I mean, I don't want to get in the way. And really, I want to go home.
Let me. Where's home?
It's in. I have to think of a pokey English village. Shropshire. That's not an English village. That's just a place.
Yes.
Well, she'll say she's from Shropshire. Sure, why not?
Maybe there's a Shropshire village in Shropshire. Who knows?
Who knows?
I'll be right back, I say to Cameron.
Where are you going?
Shropshire.
Uh,
Give me your hand, Don.
Okay.
And we'll be right back. And I lead Mary off into nothingness.
Hey, you sounds like you are trying to be the monster.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just to see her off safe. I'll
yeah. While you're gone, Cameron is just saying, "That's no fair. I found the human first, and she was lovely."
You can
Or
visit her
monologuing
later
to
if you wanted
himself.
to. I'm going to spend one. And then I will I'll call on Humphrey's bond to pump that to 8.
Okay, so on an 8 to 10, you and the monster act as one, and you do it. So I think I just looked it up. Shropshire is a county, not a town. I think she lives in Telford. There we go. That's
There
one
we
of the
go.
towns in Shropshire. And I think because you rolled a 8, so there's not going to be anything waiting for you there. You will be able to get married to safety. Kind of respect that she's out of the park, and also you kind of realize that whatever magic nonsense is happening in this park, it doesn't have a hold on you yet. You can actually just step away from this place. Which makes the question, you can step away from most things, really.
Yes, but I'm not going to in this case. I'm going to step right towards it.
Yeah.
So I leave her, and I leave her with the division card, and saying, if you have a problem here, you can call the number on this card, and someone will talk to you. But just be safe for now, okay?
Okay.
Now I have to go.
Good luck.
Mhm.
To all of you.
Thank you. I'm sure everyone will appreciate it. And I'm gonna step back through the portal. She's fine. Cameron.
Yeah, well,
let's go
but
talk
I'm
to
not.
Flora.
How comes you're not saying once you're disappearing? I don't like that. You could have said something. You just said
You said you wanted
will
to
be
get her
back.
safe, and I'll.
Yeah, but we're a team here. We're supposed to talk about our next steps, aren't we? Now I'm
Yes, we're
standing
going.
here alone, and I don't know if you would come back or when. I know you mean well, but that's not way it's supposed to be. Hope, we're a team here.
I understand. Let's go talk to Ophelia now.
Cameron, do you want to listen to the dark? Sounds
This
like
is
you
so
are.
hard to get tokens with you all. I'm always able to eat something and to run off and eat. I
You
need to get
declared
some
a
darkness
chocolate me.
tokens.
I mean, you feel. I mean, it sounds like you're feeling unloved or abandoned right now.
Yeah, okay. If that would be enough, I just want to get another token, maybe 2.
Yes,
Okay. Well, you get a minimum of 2 from getting those dark.
I understand.
yeah.
I understand how you feel. I feel the same way. Let's go talk to Ophelia and tell her how we feel.
I want to
Says-
know.
And I'm quite
And
agitated.
there is
Yeah,
an
I'll
ominous
tell her.
edge in that, in what she says.
Go ahead, Cameron.
Yeah, I just want to say I'm a bit agitated right now, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna tell her.
Good.
I was gonna ask Cameron. Do you think you're dealing with force for emotional turmoil and pressure from your past responsibilities or relationships right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to not get sad whenever you talk to Hope. So yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I think I'll use. Yeah, I go with the 2 tokens I just got. And
Okay.
I'll roll that. So we roll.
Wow, y'all rolling really well. That's a
7,
9.
9. Yeah.
Yeah. So what you manage to keep yourself together. What insight do you gain about your darkness?
I mean, the insight about my darkness might very well be yeah. That if I stay on planet Earth, there's no way I'll ever feel truly at home. I'll ever find a loved one. And I might not even have friends like I used to have, because all of my friends now are somehow weird. They just disappear in thin air. They change their appearance all the time. They are a goddess that really makes everybody feel beneath them. That is, it's a lot. And right now I'm really I just realized that I really want to stay on planet Earth, but it's not gonna be a happy life, and that's a hard pill to swallow.
You'd rather hang out with the Marys rather than the Division. Maybe.
Yeah.
God. Okay. It sounds like everyone's kind of like gonna converge around Ophelia. I would say that because of we've kind of established Ophelia's at spaceport and Shard, you can kind of like get that from your Surtur vision.
Yeah, maybe the slide ride ends at the spaceport.
God, yeah, that'd be so weird. You go to a fantasy wizard tower, you take the slide, and suddenly you're in space.
Yeah,
And
I
then-
mean that makes perfect sense, right? From an attraction point of view, you start out and they say fantasy-ish stuff to you, and I wish you Godspeed or whatever you wish, and then while you're in the on the slide, then it turns from having mortar walls like with stones and stuff, and it gets a lot more science fiction-y, and there are LEDs and blinky lights and techno-y sounds like elevator music, just excited, like overexcited elevator music. That's probably what you hear in there when you go to the science fiction part, the spaceport. Sorry.
Yeah. So I think like you, if it's okay, unless y'all want more emotional heart-to-heart one-to-ones with each other, I think I mean not that we don't want any more of that, but I think
I don't think Charles want to press Una about the whole hell, heaven, stormy thing, because they have very muddled ideas about heaven and hell and God and what it's all about. And they are very unsure about that topic. And I don't think that's something you will discuss on a slide with Angel.
Yeah,
That's something for a late night whiskey or
Yes.
four.
Yeah, that we might get there, or not, depending, and if you storm heaven before we have a late night whiskey together ever.
No, the only thing Hope had decided that she wanted to do at this point is to beat another key out of Ophelia.
Okay. You'll find Ophelia, and I think like before like y'all, I think as you kind of like see each other, you'll spot her. She is looking out into another attraction, this like big amphitheater. Kind of it's kind of like this big kind of like open space like theater, and you can see that like it's kind of like sparse because it's a weekday, not, and it's still kind of like working hours. Who would go to a amusement park on a weekday? Well, it's working. You can see that like on the stage of the amphitheater is like this big kind of like holographic like stage show is going on, and you can see just like virtual reality people. I think they're putting on like a real like some kind of play. You can't really tell. It looks kind of like Victorian-ish is the dressing. Can't tell because like the screen's a bit far away. There are like screens that's closer to like the back because Ophelia is kind of like at the back standing watching like the show like that, and if you look like off her like off the stage in the orchestra pit, there's like an animatronic orchestra. Actually no, I think there are instruments there that are just like playing themselves. Clearly the soundtrack is like pre-taped, but there's like instruments in the orchestra pit, and there are like a few folks watching this like I guess it's an opera, this holographic opera. And yeah, Ophelia's like kind of like back turned to the lot of ye, and she is just like watching the show.
Hello, Ophelia.
Like turns around.
This Hope is smiling.
Oh, hello. How's the investigation going?
It's going great.
Yeah.
We think we discovered an important someone who's been manipulating things behind the scenes in order to make a really terrible situation here much worse. And the only question is whether they are the primary instigator or whether they've been co-opted. And so that's the last little bit we need to find out. And fortunately, I have just the thing to help to do that with. I say, and I reach into my bag and I pull out, it looks a circlet, a little futuristic looking band of metal with a tiny sort of diadem in the middle of it that Hope puts on her forehead, and she touches the diadem and it lights up. It glows softly.
Hmm.
I said, and I am using, what is it called? Crowned by dreams, exalted by nightmares. This is a this is a weapon from another dimension. And I said, you know what this does? This lets somebody else feel what it feels like to be me right now at this moment. Alone and guilty and confronted with the frightening certainty of my own kind's annihilation in the future. And it lets me show that to somebody else, and I hit her with it.
All right.
This is Unleash the Dark. Hard.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. I guess what I want to know is like, is this unlocking Doom's door as well? Is someone declaring the truth of the apocalypse's plans here, or is Hope just straight up gonna fire on Ophelia because she's in her feelings?
Mechanically, I think we need one more key to unlock Doom's door.
I mean, technically, you could have rolled the.
We can roll.
We can roll.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
because
have-
I think
Sure, shall we
it
roll it?
won't be long before Cameron will confront her and be just straightforward with his suspicions. But
Yes, well,
yeah.
this is Hope either beating the last key out of her or unlocking Doom's door. Which do you guys think?
I think I would like to have more of a chance to either all of us talk to her before we go into the fisticuffs, or we reach for the key and see what goes down.
Feel free to talk to her then, and I'll hold back on my.
Okay, then we can maybe we can get another key. That would be nice.
Yes.
So I will.
Yeah,
say,
maybe we'll say that like maybe Shard and Una got to her before.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I just, and it makes perfect sense. I'm just thinking, you can coerce keys out of people too.
Yeah, but you understand that we have a line in torture, right?
Oh, it was a threat more than torture.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm assuming like, this was an attack.
Yeah.
It's,
Okay.
violence,
I'm just saying.
violence rather than torture. But yes, not.
I think it's just that maybe some people want to like chat with her before
Absolutely. Go ahead.
fighting happens.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
I'm
fighting.
perfect. I'm happy with that.
So I think we will arrive while this is going down. And I'm pretty much in my feelings as well. And I'm looking very angular. I'm looking like I'm made of stone. I'm not, but that's what I'm looking like. And it looks a bit weird to the people, I guess, the park goers, if there are any left after everything that has happened. And I will say to her, Ophelia, what are you doing with the slide? I found you're in there. Why? What is going on? You need to tell us the truth this time, please.
Before she can answer anything, we have been seeing Cameron just circling her and sniffing at her, and I know that scent. I know that scent, but it's not. Your appearance doesn't match. And just when Shard confronts her, Cameron is yelling from behind, "Show your true form. I'm just about to discover you. Show your true form."
Shard, since you're here, you wanna grasp for some keys? Since
I
you're
think
straight
it
up
should be
just asking her.
should be Cameron because he's shouting at her.
Yeah, it's different degrees of like demanding answers from her. There's Shard to Cameron to Hope. And Una's just like, oh my god, what is happening here? Okay, all right. Cameron, since you're the one who's demanding answers, well, Shard was
Okay.
asking for answers.
I mean, I can help then if the role needs help that I could do.
Yes. If it needs it.
Okay, so in that case, I spent my last darkness. I'm just yeah, and I'm ready to share my interrogation with Shard, so I'm ready to burn a bond there. But let's see how that goes. Oh, that is very poor.
Wow. Yeah, that's a 5. Cool.
Yeah, no, I don't see how I could make it because I think Hope got the "We Are Family Now" move, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That would make it a 7. Oh no, that would make it an 8.
If you burn it, it's +3.
Okay, so yeah, but that would be with Hope, and I just think right now I do the interrogation with Shard, and that just doesn't work. I think that's a horrible failure right here, and I think I've just been mistaken, and I just thought I would know Descent, but it's been so long, and I'm just maybe distracted by everything that's going on. And I just pull her hair while demanding "show your true form," and nothing happens.
Mario, you
said,
have the option to mark Doom to get a key at cost.
I mean, nothing happens is maybe wrong because I think Shard will then go and show the true face or whatever that is. Maybe turn into this British soldier that we saw before. Just
okay,
because.
so maybe we just I just want to check in with the group because I think it would be okay to have a Miss and Cameron being just wrong and messing everything up, but that's only if that's interesting enough for everybody. Like if somebody wants to have to see me succeed, yeah, I'm happy to gain a Doom and maybe have a reasonable success. So what's everybody thinking? Like how should this scene evolve from here?
I'm fine with you failing.
Although you will find more than you were ready for, even if you don't get a key.
Yeah, because like even if you unlock a key, right, it's not when you mark the Doom, it's not necessarily the key you thought you were gonna find, right? Because it could be something much worse than you had.
The implication with 7 is not that you found out nothing, but that you found out something awful.
Okay. Yeah, so I can totally see how that would be the most interesting part. So I marked Doom. That's my 4th. Okay. And then I'll find out something I'm not really ready.
Yeah. Here, I think you grabbed Ophelia by the hair, and she's kind of like she's alarmed, but kind of like calm, like a division agent would, just being like dealt with temperamental monsters before, and I think like your gaze, Cameron, is drawn towards the stage show, the holographic Victorian play, and then you notice that like in between having seen it first and then looking at Ophelia and looking at it, the figures on the stage have changed. Suddenly they're not people. They're not humans. They're people like you. They are lizard folk in kind of like this strange kind of like Victorian kind of like dress, and then the imagery shifts and the play starts to like reconfigure into what you saw in your vision, Cameron, which is like the Saurian warriors ready to invade. Um, um, and I think like the music fades, and suddenly all of you hear the shout of 100 warriors going, "My liege, we have found thee. Prepare for our arrival. We shall scour this land and make it a throne to your brilliance."
Cameron starts stuttering and says, "No, that's too soon. I didn't have time. Hope told me I would have a couple cent. How is this happening?" And slowly just walking backwards, trying to maybe escape the situation.
Yeah. I think like as you're kind of walking by, Sophia like kind of stand up and look at the screen, and it's just, oh, that's not meant to happen. Oh, this is what happens when you connect magical powers to a time anchor. Oh, I told them they shouldn't have done that. So that's kind of like the key, is kind of like the magical ley lines have now been anchored to whatever this time anchor is, and they are like messing with the park's rides to start showing stuff like this. You know, hints as to people's futures, or you know, stuff that hints to their personal apocalypses.
So yeah, so I wonder if Una steps up to Ophelia to confront her in a less physical way than maybe everyone else was. And I quietly wonder to Ophelia, what did he promise you? Can't
Give me
think. I can see what's going on now. You know, the joy and the nightmares of regular people just wasn't enough. Is that why you summoned us?
Are you taking my keys? Are you unlocking Doom's door,
Oh,
or do you want to just,
I'm not sure.
enforce your will on her socially or
I
emotionally?
was initially thinking that I'm enforcing my will upon her, but I don't know. Are we unlocking Doom's door? Maybe.
If you want to unlock Doom's door, you need to sum it all up.
Yeah.
You need to stay. You need to say what is happening and who's behind it all, and etc.
Yeah, and here's some like advice from the PDF. You know, when at least one monster is ready to unlock Doom's door, ask them to declare the truth of the apocalypse's plans here. While only one monster needs to trigger this move, it's encouraged to like involve all the players in the process. This is where we can like step out of the story a little bit, and talk it out and see like what's a fulfilling kind of like conclusion you want to declare a truth on. This sounds like Una's like declaring like, yeah.
So so I don't know if I'm happy to unleash the dark on Ophelia right now, and then maybe we can have that discussion as a group.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'm going back to my original question of asking Ophelia what he promised her for her part in this. You can't think that someone like him, someone like Alexander, will actually give you your heart's desire.
All right, roll unleash the dark.
So I'm not sure if I am really acting with spite or arrogance. I don't know, maybe a little bit.
We'll see.
No, I don't think so. I will not take any, and I will spend my last 2 tokens
Okay.
to unleash the dark. Okay. Rolled a 7, got a 9.
Gosh. Of course. Of
This
course.
levels. Okay,
Jeez,
so
this dice roller room
yeah,
has been very nice to y'all.
it is.
Even with some of the misses. Well, okay, we had one poor Cameron.
One terrible miss. Yeah.
One terrible miss for them.
So, oh, and I'm getting my free question, aren't I? From
Yeah.
honeyed words, honey tongue, clouded minds.
Mm-hmm. Oh well, it
Um,
does say like when you use lies.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, that's true. Sorry, I missed that part of the trigger.
Yeah,
I don't think.
sorry about that.
I mean, they might think that Alexander might. Yeah, I think the jury's out on whether Alexander will actually deliver or not on any of his promises. So yeah. So I guess I am getting what I want from them, which is an admission of their part, right? And I think I will avoid reprisals, harm, or cost.
Yeah, I think you catch them at like a vulnerable moment, and like their breath, her breath kind of like hitches a bit. She's kind of like watching these the display of the lizard warriors give their salute to their absent king. So her eyes kind of like widen, and then she kind of like, and then her eyes stop widening, and she's like, he offered all that he offered the only thing that he's good for these days. An opportunity. He's right now, him cooped up in that tower. All he is a stepping stone to something else.
Well, for someone like me, perhaps. But what could you possibly be stepping towards?
I think like you could tell like she's kind of like struggling against your incredible charm. Um but like it's almost like she's afraid to like, because she's an agent of the division. She could probably do something to you, but she knows what you are. The future. That's where I'm headed. Away from here and further on.
Because this present isn't terrible enough for you? You want to visit the terrible future?
Hope bursts out laughing.
I think like she just says, depends on your definition of what's terrible.
Well, we have seen all flavors.
Okay. Was there anything else you want to get out of this? I think it's time to unlock Doom's door. If otherwise.
Yeah.
Who's doing the unlocking? So first, let's figure out like the pitch.
Yes.
What is the truth of the apocalypse's plans here? I mean, we kind of got a good idea. Let's lay it all out.
A big part of it is that they have created a time anchor here, and they are putting forth tendrils into other times and spaces to yank powers into this place that don't belong here.
Mhm. Anything folks want to add to that?
I mean, I have a question more than an answer, I guess, because so she betrayed us, and did she use the division to maybe not establish only this one anchor, but maybe we have seen similar, like not really similar, but like other incidents where it could have been a time anchor, now that we know how it's done and what's needed to do something like that. But what we don't know is, like, is she working alone? Is there somebody like using her as well? These are all things that I would be interested in finding out.
I think what is happening here is that both Alexander is trying to use her and she's trying to use Alexander, both for their own purposes. That seems the thing that makes most sense to me from all we've seen. She didn't let him loose. And we have to figure out why these people have vanished. What's the connection here? That's the heart of that's probably the start. Why did they do this? Did they send them somewhere as to be time anchors for other periods or other dimensions?
I think that's exactly right.
Yeah.
In order to establish stable links to other dimensions, they have to have a connection to this one. And the best and easiest connections is people. You take someone who belongs here, you displace them into another dimension, and while they exist there, they hold a connection open, a magical connection open between the two places.
Yeah, maybe that's what's needed to open the doors to heaven. You can't just go there. You have to maybe pass through other dimensions. And that's what Alexander wants, right? He wants to get to heaven. Maybe he has to figure out the way. Sorry, Donna.
And there's like one of them disappeared in each of the 4 realms, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so each of those 4 realms is like a distillation of one of these time and space where he is anchoring to. And so I think like there's like a pivotal ride or attraction in each of those 4 realms, which is like what we saw on the slide, which tests the soul of the person going through, and like, you know, it draws something out of them and it sees if they are the one, right? And so that's what's happening, right? That's how he chooses the right person to be the right anchor, you know, into each of those time dimensions.
Yeah, he draws people, things, whatever from there. And I think to make this a bit more personal, all of these times realms that he tries to connect to has a certain connection to one of us, like the lizard people, like heaven, which is connected to Una, like the mirror cabinet, which was connected to Hope, and Cassandra, who was and the weird dwarf shape changers who were connected to Shard. And that's probably because he got this newspaper from somewhere in the future, and he thinks that there is a connection to the apocalypse, that we, being monsters and freaks and stuff, we can.
Yes, well, especially since most or all of us are displaced from somewhere else. So we are, I don't know in the case of Shard, because I don't
They're
know that
not.
it's
They
not. It's
don't
not.
think they're really. Maybe part of what
It's not.
they are.
It's not
Well,
clear with Shard.
Yeah, but say
But certainly with Una,
Hmm?
with Cameron, and with Hope,
Yeah.
they're all from another realm. In essence, another time, place, or dimension.
I think the
So-
human part of Shard is from this dimension. Sorry, Jonathan.
yeah, I was just
finish it.
thinking something. Yeah,
Our part,
go ahead.
maybe not. Go ahead.
So what I was thinking was, right, I think Brandon, that suggestion is really good, right? But
Mhm.
also, if Ophelia is responsible for picking us as agents of the division to come here, she might have gotten it wrong. She might have been working
Yeah.
with Alexander to say, listen, if you want to really, the ghosts were not quite enough. They were good, but they needed 4 specials
Oh
to
yeah.
to really drive
Yeah.
things through. And
Yeah.
so she
Yeah,
was right on 3 out of 4,
Yeah.
and Shard was something she thought was connected with something else, right?
Well, the
Yeah,
the
that makes sense. I like that.
the gates of heaven can't be stormed by any normal way. You have to cheat.
Okay.
You know,
This is
you have to
all-
find a way in that doesn't exist.
God. Love your theory. Let's see if it's true. Who wants to roll? To unlock Doom's door.
Who hasn't rolled today?
Yeah. I think everyone has yeah, I think everyone has rolled at some point.
Okay,
Feeling lucky.
I know you want to do it.
I can do it. I have lots of darkness, but I can't use
You
that.
can't.
You can't
So
use darkness.
Can't
I
use-
know.
can't
Don't worry.
use it or bonds.
You're rolling plus the number of keys found minus the mystery's complexity, which you have found one. Did I accidentally delete one?
We're +2, I think.
Yes, you're at +2.
at
One
plus
of
2.
them.
That
One of them got
that's fine.
deleted.
I'm gonna roll. Come on. What
All
can
right.
go wrong?
Yeah.
What can go wrong,
Plus
right?
2.
Plus 2, so much.
You see,
And it's a
9.
set.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 9. See?
Yeah, it's a 9. See?
See?
Yeah.
See? Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't have a doubt. Who had a doubt?
Okay, on an 8 to 10, the truth opens Doom's door. The keeper of the doors will present an opportunity to protect what matters most, take down a harbinger, otherwise stall the apocalypse. Okay, here's kind of like, it's not, so basically how this works is that basically when you trigger this move, we kind of go into end game in the mystery and we go to like the last final sprint to like stall the apocalypse's like plans. And I think what this looks like is I think how do you like kind of like do you like present all this theory to Ophelia as of like, we figured it out, you brought us here to create, to refashion like a more powerful time anchor. You and Alexander have been in on it this whole time. I think okay. Who like, because like because like I know Hope, we kind of like skirted over you beating the snot out of her, but like
Well, we'll let her react. So I think yes, this unfolds right in front of her.
yeah, and I think Ophelia will kind of like sigh because you kind of like, even if Cameron is having a really bad day over at the back, the 3 of you kind of like surrounded her, and you can see like she's struggling, and then she kind of like almost like shrugs, and suddenly it feels like whatever charm you had on her is is kind of like lost a bit, and she kind of like just kind of like kneels, puts her hands behind her back, and will kind of like say, all right, I see when I'm lamped. If you're quite ahead of schedule, I should have expected that from the division's best. I suppose you should probably go for the time anchor. I was hoping to separate you long enough to bring you to the time anchor, but if you hurry, you might. You'll have time. I'm sure you can get there to make sure that the anchor doesn't rend poor Miss Ophelia Murphy into 5 different pieces. And as she's kind of saying that, her skin is like bub. Her skin is like melting. No, her entire visage is melting. It's slowing off of her, and she still has kind of like her arms span her head. It's like, you know, as a surrender. But as like it's like slowing off, revealing. Shard, what does Cassandra look like?
I think Cassandra is a human woman.
Mm-hmm.
She looks like a bit like Agent Carter, I think.
Hell yeah. Yeah. So I think that as like skins like peeling off, and this person who I think you kind of realize now has been pretending to be Ophelia this whole time.
Oh my gosh.
Throughout this park, we'll just kind of say, "Don't worry, I know when I've been lamped, I know when when I've been beat. You'll need to hurry. Try and save Miss Murphy. She would have sufficed if the 4 of you couldn't be led to the time anchor. But with by herself, well, I'm afraid those energies might just rip her into pieces. So I'm giving you a opportunity to stall the apocalypse. Like, Miss Murphy, the real Miss Murphy, is with the time anchor, which you'll know from like Hope doing the thing like 2 sessions ago. It's deep underneath like the mountain. And Cassandra is like it's surrendered, you know. It's just and she has like surrender. You can do. She's right there, and you can do whatever to like make sure that like she can't get away. She has given herself up to you.
Shard will step behind, up in front of her and say, "Would you please give us a moment?" To the team, not to her. I would like to speak to her. She created me.
All right.
Thank you.
Because that is, I understand that absolutely. She says with a very meaningful look at Shard.
Yeah, they are concentrating. They're like on Cassandra right now.
That's right. Yeah. Hope says to Una and Cameron, she's not wrong. Things are deteriorating. If we're going to act, we had better do it quickly.
And while Hope turns and hopes to find Cameron there, we see Cameron with tears in his eyes, just running around like crazy and ripping everything apart that kind of looks like there might be an invasion. So like every screen, everything that it looks just in the slightest like some sort of reptile. He's ripping everything to pieces and yelling, "You're not gonna take this away from me. I'm not ready. Hope said I have time. I still have time."
Okay. Hope is going to act with her. She's wearing an empathy gun. And Hope cares about Cameron. And she's going to fire it at him.
Is this your version of reaching out for the
It
light?
is reaching for the light with a very weird science fiction twist. Yes. So Cameron
yeah.
is struck by a bolt of arcing white energy that embodies hopes, love for him, and concern for him.
All right. Reach
Okay,
out for the light.
I think
She's going to
yeah.
spend 2.
Go ahead, Cameron. What are you gonna say?
Yeah, I think the first thing we will see after
that is-
Cameron gets
And
struck
that is
by
an 8. So I nailed it. You.
Go ahead, Cameron.
Yes.
Yeah, I just think I have this, like, after I got struck, I just stopped there in place, and it's the sheer confusion about the rage and the desperation he just felt, and all of the sudden there is like this thing like friendship, which he just thought he would never feel on this planet. um and I think that just brings him, that's the last bit that brings him to tears, and he's just like a big old crocodile crying on its knees. But it's not all sad tears, it's a bit of happy tears. And he's just like
Get up, you big
sobbing in.
Get up, you big lummox. We have a disaster to stop.
Okay, yes, I will do. That's the hope. I didn't know all of this. I thought you were all like all distracted by yourself and not caring about any of us.
I
I'm so
think maybe
sorry.
you 3 are the only people I care about.
And Cameron cries even more, like, oh, I didn't know that. And then just like acting according to what Hope said, tells him to do.
Well, now the anchor's under the mountain. I'm sure you can find it if you. We may have to bash our way in there.
Yeah, I mean, I think, Una is, has been looking at Cameron during his, I don't know, temper tantrum and then meltdown. Like, I don't know, how is this like supposed to be the king of the crocodile people? And, you know, when Hope, shoots him, it's like finally, like a grown up has to step in. And so when he's kind of calming down, I think Una will transform into some, draconic worm to tunnel underneath the mountain.
Hell yeah. We've been here for another hour, so let's take like a 5-minute break and come back. Shard has emotion is in their feelings, Cameron's in their feelings, Hope's in their feelings, and Una's a worm. So let's take 5 and come back and wrap this all in a nice, neat little bow. I want to start with Shard, who seems they're going to stay behind to say some words. I think like Cassandra, who still has hands behind her head, she kind of like gives you like this kind of like wistful kind of like look, and she says, "I was hoping you'd recognize it. The opera that was on the stage."
I have very few memories of the time before.
That's a shame. That was your favorite.
Maybe. What did you do with me?
I had questions and you wanted to help me answer them.
That is not an answer. What did you do to me?
Well, I think she kind of like has this like look as if like she kind of expect you to have more interesting questions. Yeah, yeah. She
Yeah.
kind of like is like
Yeah.
disappointed kind of look. And it's like, is that really what's burning a hole in your mind right now? You could ask so many things about yourself, and you're asking
And I
for
think when she's talking, Shard starts to disintegrate a bit. He becomes darker. Suddenly becomes like an obsidian black, and then he lifts his. They lift his. He is appropriate because the human figure was male. They lift their arms, and then they start to extend, and they become a mass of black tendrils that create a circle around her. And they look a bit like razor wire made of tendons and bone. And there's still that face of that young man somewhere behind it. It's completely black, but it's still the same facial structure. And then a voice yells, and this is not Char's normal voice. This is a far louder voice. He yells, "What did you do to me?" And I think I'm trying to unleash my power, and I have so much doom. Unless you want to trigger
oh,
my doom
wait,
thingy.
yeah. How much darkness do you have?
Oh, 5.
Oh shit! Then you should have hit corrupt your soul.
Yeah, I know, but I've wrote doom in the chat, and I meant darkness, of course. Sorry.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
This
Yeah, I'm
sounds
trying
like
to
a
hit that right.
moment that your
I'm
soul's being
trying.
corrupted.
I'm trying to hit that right now. So
Yeah.
seems very corrupty.
Yeah. If you have 5 or more tokens of darkness in front of you, what
I do.
does the darkness demand of you in this moment? How would it compromise your fellow monsters and your mission?
I think what the darkness demands is that I ally with her, that I become her ally, that I bow to her will, as I have before, that I let her guide me, let her tell me how to use the power, let her tell me which way to go with this.
Roll +3 darkness.
Yay. And I'm supposed to roll very low, right?
Nah, it's yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you'd want to roll 7 below. You did not.
I do not. I do roll I do roll the 12.
Okay, so you can't hold it back. You either choose one. Mark 2 conditions to keep control, or mark doom twice and do something worse.
I think at this point, though, Shard will try to keep control because of the rest of them, like Cameron, Hope, Una. That's not. They can't just abandon them, right? That's not that. No. And I think they become distant. They just draw themselves into themselves, become smaller, lighter, and reactive is also, I think, quite nice because this is where they have to just distance themselves from everything that is happening here, and especially from Cassandra and what that means.
God, I think
Yeah, and when I mark all conditions, I hit my breaking point, right? And that's
when you mark all 4, yes.
And I mark all 5, mark 3, so yay.
Yeah.
Not in a good place. That's fine.
No,
That's
not
what
a good place. Yeah, it's I think like she does like flinch, and when you go all horrific and big, and I do think that like she kind of like I think you can clearly see, like, despite, even though it's been years and she looks exactly the same, she is not like you. She's still human. And yet she's figured out as if you were like a prototype and she's perfected her method over the decades. But she does kind of flinch at your display. And I think let's do a quick cutaway to the anchor saving team, or the anchor destroying team. Una.
You might have heard the shout from back there.
Yeah, but right now, Una, you're a worm. So
Yeah, so leaving Shard behind may not have been a great idea. Not leaving Shard behind alone, at least. But you know, I'm a worm. We don't think of these things. We just want to get deep inside the heart of the mountain and claim whatever's there for ourselves. That's what worms do.
Time to be the monster. And you do something only your monstrous nature can accomplish.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm gonna. Yeah, I think I'm not gonna take any chances with this. I'm gonna spend 3 and roll. Oh well, I rolled a 3. I spent 3, so that's a 6.
Spend some bonds. Do you still have bonds?
I still have bonds, though. Yeah, I have a bond with Hope and 2 with Cameron. So.
Hey, the 2 people who are coming with you.
Yeah, exactly. I can't remember which of you have that special ability.
As it happens, we both do.
Oh, okay.
So
the both of them do. Yes.
Okay.
And either one of us could be guiding you towards the time anchor, so you can choose.
Yeah. Well, I need both to get me to an 8.
So. Or you. Oh yeah. If you're not going to burn them, yes.
Yeah.
So so we're both helping out.
And I think.
Oh, there's a pitfall or 2 that we narrowly avoid.
Yeah, and I think maybe when they are in their mythical animal form, they become their psychology changes to be more like what that mythic animal is like, and so bestial and instinctual. I mean, more than usual. So yeah, I think maybe Cameron might understand that side of them a little bit better, and I think maybe I think Hope and Una are kind of usually, certainly lately, have been kind of on the same wavelength, right? So I think it's easy to explain how both of them can help Una.
Yeah, I think there is a bit of a change in Cameron's behavior now that there's like such a magnificent creature amongst us, and Cameron communicates more with like movement and I think basically with movement, and therefore like having a bit more of an understanding of what is Una about to do, and also can connect in a different way, can connect more to Una's instincts.
So I think I'll bump you up to the good spot. So you and the monster act as one, and you do it. So I think you're gonna burrow your way through, like the underground underneath like the mountain, and following the Hope and Cameron's like instructions to get to the time anchor. And when you can like emerge, you emerge in this fairly large dungeon, and it's like this big cubicle kind of like room, and you can see like there's like a raised, almost kind of like stage in the middle. And jutting from the roof of the queue of the roof of the room is like kind of like coming from all sides. It's like this gigantic kind of like pyramid pointing downwards. It's pointing towards the center of like the raised stage in the middle. And you can see like there is like a person lying in the middle of like the stage, and the tip is like pointed straight on their like stomach, and you can see that that unconscious person is, we presume, is the real Ophelia Murphy, knocked out and unconscious. And I think that you can feel like dimensions folding within like the vicinity of this pyramid. And you can kind of feel that like the pyramid is like full of things, but it still has room. Thanks, Sabine. Like the pyramid is like a receptacle, almost. I think you can kind of tell that you're like in the, if not the geographical center, then like the metaphorical center of this park, as if like the lands converge towards this like pyramid. And you can feel like there's like this electric like energy, as this pyramid is like slowly like gonna like sink down on Ophelia. What do you do?
Okay. I'm going to try to stabilize this situation, and you guys figure out how to get her out of there. We can't just pull her out. She's, I don't even know if it's possible, but if it is, she might just be torn into pieces. I'm going to move to under the pyramid and hop up on the dais, and I'm going to reach out and try to catch hold of the time strands and slow them down.
Right,
Just push back.
I believe in you.
You all feel time slow down as hope starts to push.
All right,
And
be the monster.
being the monster, using my last 2 tokens of darkness. $12.
Lovely. Hold on, sorry, I'm just looking stuff up. All right, different things. Okay, so on a 12, the monster goes too far and there's a complication, worse outcome, or hard choice. Okay, I think there's a complication for sure. You pull at time, but you know, you kind of meant to be like careful with time. You gotta finesse it, but they're kind of like, I think in the desperation, time is being pulled. So like, I think like the pyramid almost kind of like slows, but when you kind of like pull, it's like there's it's like a fold, in like the dimension near the pyramid. And then you hear like again this roaring battle cry come from like the fold, and like a figure starts to like try to squeeze out of the way to the fold, because time is soft, for lack of a better term, here in this place. And
Hope is visibly straining and is saying, I can't move. I'll keep this up, but I can't stop it from coming through.
Cameron, can I ask a question? Because I know you're going to do something. What's the name
Yeah.
of your sister again?
That is a very good question.
I don't think we gave her a name, did we?
Did we name her?
I don't think we
can't
did,
see it in my
actually.
notes.
Yeah.
She has probably has many names. So you
Mhm.
can give her one now and still give her a different one later.
Yeah. I mean, it would translate into maybe into something like Elisa.
Ooh, yes. Okay. I think then, that's an interesting point. Maybe whenever the crocodile warriors are shouting, they're shouting your language. So everyone else doesn't really understand. They just hear a lot of like snarling. But so at
Yeah.
that amphitheater, there was just a crowd of crocodiles snarling, and you understand they're paying homage to you. This figure that's squeezing out of the heft is definitely crocodilian shape, but when they're snarling, instead of paying homage to you, they're paying homage to their queen. Um, their
Ooh.
their queen exultant. Um, um, she who rends a million stars in one swipe. Uh,
Yeah, that's my sister.
what do you do, Cameron?
But I know I'm here for the division, and I'm here to help Hope, because Hope needs to have some hope as well, and she has friends she can count on, and therefore we just see Cameron run into the room, jump in the air, and basically Superman punch that pyramid kind of thing in the middle of the room and tries to shatter it, because with his colossal strength, um, and especially now that he's getting real angry about all these people trying to fuck with him and fuck with his reality and trying to make him a king he doesn't want to be, he gets real angry at this, and that gives me 3 darkness tokens, and maybe even more, because I have two triggers for darkness when I'm angry, because I'm also overreacting with violence, and that actually would just mechanically rush me to at least 5 darkness tokens.
Yeah. I think it's ruled that like if you're gonna about to trigger a move when you take those tokens, you won't trigger corrupt your soul.
Okay.
So you have 5, you can use up to 3. That 3 is like the max when
Okay.
you roll. So don't worry
Yeah,
about
so
triggering corrupt your
I
soul.
use 3 right away, I guess, in that case. Um,
Oh yeah.
and I'm just rolling this 2 dice. Oh, double 1.
Oh my
With
God.
3, it's only a 5. But I'm doing this for Hope. And so I'm burning the bond I've got with Hope, which gives me another 3.
Oh yeah.
That makes
gives you
it
up to an
8.
8. Whew. Gotta love friendship.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So glad we had this moment earlier.
Yes. So glad. All right. On an 8 to 10, you wield the darkness with precision. Well, punch with precision. Choose 2. Yes, the pyramid does have conditions. I'll tell you that right now. It doesn't say that you can't
I
choose
want
a
to.
thing twice. I don't think
Yeah,
so.
but the thing is, I also an important aspect of this is to not harm the real Ophelia. So
Yes.
I want to avoid reprisal, harm, or cost, and I want to get past their defenses and inflict the condition. So I want to see some crack where my fist connects with this nice little pyramid, upside down pyramid, I imagine.
Hell yeah. I think like because you roll like the good the good result when you like punch connects, you can sense through like your shadow control that like I said, this pyramid is also a receptacle. Not only is like about to like skewer Ophelia, you can sense that like those people who are like missing, they're around in the park, but they're anchored to this like pyramid. Um, but I think like your punch and the shadows leaking in will kind of like well, one, it actually kind of like raises the pyramid up a bit, so so Ophelia doesn't get skewered, but also like it does kind of like shake its like foundations, and it's like just this big ringing brrrr that kind of reverberates throughout the park when Cameron gives it a good old Superman punch. Hell yeah. Let's cut for a moment to to Shard. Shard, you said you want to unleash the dark on Cassandra.
Yeah, I
yeah.
think I wanted to do that because I wanted answers, and then I had to hold myself back, but that doesn't mean that I can intimidate her. I mean, that's I imagine that's basically she can't, hopefully she can look inside myself, right? Can she? Who knows?
Who
Maybe
knows?
she can. But then she will know that I am serious, at least. And I'm the pure, I think, and unleash the dark, blah, blah, blah. I have a thing because I have another move. Okay. No, this is one. Oh, my darkness is never leashed. Okay.
Ooh,
Very
yes.
nice. I have a thing I can do even on a miss. So I will deplete my darkness a bit here. I still got 2 tokens, and
You have a condition that has a +2.
then it's fine. Then I use 1 and I have +3. That could maybe go well. Who knows? Maybe not.
Let's see. Let's
Oh wow,
see.
it's a 4, so it's a 7, and I kind of
Wow.
I have a bond with Cameron, and I think I'll use that.
Wow.
Because,
This dice, I'm just surprised. Yes, you absolutely can. I'm just like, wow. The last minute, suddenly the dice roll was like, I'm gonna make you work for these.
Yeah, well, this is my last bond, so that's fine. It's not everything's fine.
Okay, hell yeah.
I'm just thinking.
You don't have to burn your bond if you just need the +1.
Oh, okay. I don't.
You can keep it because I've got the we're family now move.
Oh, nice.
That move
cool.
is really good. It's really useful.
Okay, so unleash the dark. There are so many tabs in this character keeper. Says I've got an 8, yeah. With the darkness,
Yes.
choose 2. Get past
Choose
their
2.
defenses inflicted. Get what I want from them. Avoid appraisals, harm or cost. I will, at this point, I think I don't want any more harm. I'm feeling very, very fragile right now. Get the upper hand, confuse them for some time, but I've also, of course, got my own stuff to choose from, which is they are entranced with you for now. They're willing to bargain for now. They will tell you more than they wanted to. Oh yeah, and they know of a secret related to your power, origin, or doom. Okay.
No, seriously, she kind of knows like the secret.
Yeah, so I think that this means they will tell you more than they wanted to, and that they know my secret is kind of written into the whole background, right?
Yes. I think like your display kind of like breaks through, like, because she has this, she was trying to like feign disinterest, but you saw from like how the way Una talked to her, like she's not infallible. She is not like an arch mastermind who can like shrug off your puny mortals. No, you can have to get to her. I think you make this like big horrible display. I mean, she has limits, like and she's kind of like taken aback. You're so different from who you were. When I knew you wouldn't hurt a fly. You didn't want to.
I was a soldier, Cassandra. I hurt more than a fly.
you want to be anything else. You maybe were a soldier, but that wasn't by choice. That was
not. Cat.
no worries. I found a way to give you a way to make yourself into whatever you want to be. And, well,
So you
I gave it
think
to you.
this is what I want to be? And you can see that Shard is kind of hunching up a little bit further, like this is what I want to be. Thank you for telling me that.
Do you still want to be like this?
I don't have a choice.
Maybe. But what I've found out over the decades is that if you don't, it just feels like you don't have a choice. You just have to make one for yourself.
I guess I have made a choice. And I chose to use this to oppose those who would end this world.
How's that working out for you?
You know, look at me.
I think she does kind of like laugh like kind of like softly, and I think she's not put her hands behind her back now because she's got taken aback by your display. I think like the holograms like shift and it turns into like the no longer are the screaming crocodile warriors. It suddenly turns into like a, let's say, a dance floor. Suddenly there's like these holographic figures dancing around you. Um, what kind of music did you not realize you haven't heard in a long time?
I think that what I haven't heard in a long time is this classical dance music, like at the classic opera, not opera, but it is at the dance where you would go and wear a tuxedo and the lady would wear a dress and you would just dance very formalized dances.
It's going to be Strauss, is it?
Yeah,
waltzes.
yeah, waltzes.
Turn of the century.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. That seems fitting. But when she does this, Char shakes their head and says, "No, no, you are trying to end this war, Cassandra, and I'm trying to stop that."
I wasn't lying to your angel friend. It's kind of cheating to have an angel friend, to be honest. But I wasn't lying to her when I said all I wanted was the future. I suppose if the price for the future, for my future, meant the world, I'm willing to take that step.
I'm not. Cassandra, step out of our way here. I'm going now to help the rest, and I cannot imprison you here. You have the choice, you can run. But look, I'm not strong. I've never been, you know this. But do not mistake that for a lack of determination. Do not mistake that for a lack of purpose. I struggle. And I've been talking to you for far too long. And then he in that case turns away and changes into something that is a body that is fast and lies and will run after the others.
Wow, you're just gonna let her go.
Yeah, I can't hurt her. Come on, she's the love of my life.
Cool. Okay, fine. All right. You didn't even have to listen to the dark. That sounds like a very decisive decision for yourself. Okay. Let's come back to the dungeon, and yeah, Shard will slink you in when you're ready. Una, turn to you. Are you still a worm?
Yeah, I think so. And maybe so. I'm like so. What's her face is the name I have in my head. Cameron's sister is like coming through.
Yep.
So while being attacked, or is that fight over? Or
there's still, well, the thing is that Cameron decided to punch the pyramid. That figure, who is like I think I think they do bear like the visage of Cameron's like sister. Not sure if that is her sister. Who that is his sister? Who knows? Time is weird. But yes, she still tried to wrench her way through like this dimensional fold. Hope is barely struggling. Cameron's punched a pyramid. Shards on their way. Una, what do you do?
So I think I'm like wrapping my tail around one end of those strands of time and slowly wrapping around it. And like through those strands, I think their body is kind of emitting these harmonics, right, to make them reverberate and to close up again. So it's a kind of a halfway between like the physical worm doing it and their weapons of sound.
Hell yeah. I think this is because like Hope's like beat a monster kind of like open up the pyramid for attack because she's holding this on. So I think this is like unleash. You're unleashing on the anchor.
Okay. Yeah.
Unless you want to pitch me, like it could be a beat a monster. What do you think?
No, I mean, yeah, I think either one works.
Okay.
I have a sum total of 0 darkness tokens, and I will spend all of them on this roll.
All of them. Or is it none of them?
Yeah. So.
Well, you didn't need to. You rolled a 9, so it's all good. It's all good. Yes. So basically, what we found out is the problem-solving rolls do fine. The emotional, I don't want to have feelings rolls do poorly.
Mission accomplished, says Jammy somewhere watching this.
Yes, Jammy just feels like a disturbance in the force, and they're like, yes, it's working. Okay, so on an 8 to 10, you wield the darkness position, you angelic worm. You.
So I mean, so this is directed at the kind of time portal thing, right?
Yeah, the time anchor.
Yeah,
which is like the pyramid.
Yeah. So I guess I get what I want from it.
Okay. What do you want from it?
I guess I'm trying to, disconnect the anchor anchors away, right? Is disconnect the anchor from the other time and place, right?
I think when you
close the door. Yeah.
yeah, I think when you do that, you realize because you're suddenly like you're connected to this anchor that like this pyramid, this design is quite familiar to you because you suddenly realize like a device like this, a artifact like this, is almost exactly the kind that Alexander Payton created to contact you. Like this device, it was one of his. It's one of his make, and it's the kind that it's the kind that tries to reach out across dimensions. Hence, how he found you. Um, that's part of what you of what you're getting from it. Um, and I think like you're connecting it almost kind of like makes him appear, and his visage appears kind of like near like the base of the pyramid near Ophelia. He's on his knees, and when he looks up, you can see like he looks far older than when you saw him. When he showed up to you, because when he showed up to you, he was king shit, cigar, looks like what if Walt Disney was a mob boss, that kind of vibe. But here, like, he looks like much more haggard, like his beard is like graying, it's gray. He's wrinkled, and he kind of like looks up and seeing all this nonsense. um and he kind of like tries to stagger up to his like feet, and you can tell that like it's not just the years that have gotten to him, it's like being stuck here. And he kind of like just says to all of you, you can't fault a man about to slip into hell for trying.
I can, says Hope.
Really?
And Humphrey Humphrey kind of hisses at him.
I think like Alexander Payton like chuckles at that. Really, you should blame your poor security for letting that woman slip in and take your agent's place. I wouldn't have done shit if it wasn't for her. So much for
Yes,
your
well-
vaunted division.
Yes, well, happy to give you an option to all the opportunity to do shit anywhere and any when you want. But you're done here and now.
And I think Una or this worm will scathingly tell Alexander that if he's not willing to take full responsibility for his plots, he'd never survive Heaven's throne. Not for a minute.
God. Oh, you have one more. I think you have one more from the Unleash the Dark.
Oh, well, I guess I am exposing weakness or flaw in Alexander. I'm going to put the boot in on him, so to
Yes.
speak.
Yes, yeah, I think it's quite clear that
Yeah.
like he is just a dude at the end of the day.
Yep. But it means there'll be reprisals.
Yeah, well,
It'll be fine. I think the reprisal because you have connected to this like anchor, and I'll say that like at this moment when Alexander shows up is when Shard can like show up, just like bring everyone into the room. But and because we're near close to like wrapping this up, but I think the reprisal, I'm gonna flick a condition to you, and I think how you get this condition is like Alexander we chuckle, but he kind of like wheezes and he's like coughing. It turns out, you smoke that many cigars, you get what you get. But when he like sneezes, like Una, like that feeling, that tenth of a 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 percentage of heaven's sight on you. That goes up to like a full 1%. What do you see of heaven? That just kind of like would be a strong enough visage to inflict a condition on you.
I think when I am shutting this time portal closed, I don't see it as these time strands. I see the gates of heaven, and I am shutting them, and I'm shutting that light off from me. So I think, I don't know. Do you choose or do I choose the condition?
I'm flexible. How do you think
Okay.
Una's feeling?
Because I'm thinking forlorn, or yeah, forlorn seems, I am not going to see that again for a long time.
God. Yeah, and I think like with that, because we're kind of close to time, we're kind of like wrapping this up. So I think I want, instead of mechanically doing a roll, I want each of you, as you're all here now, to give me a detail of how you shut off, you turn off the time energies coming from this anchor. I know there's like a crocodile movement in the fold, but like I think Una connecting with the time anchor will kind of like close it off. We'll start with Hope. What do you do to like help shut this down?
Hope, with the things slowed down enough, Hope is able to puts her hands out, and a tiny bubble of space-time appears between them, like a soap bubble. And she extends it large enough to cover Ophelia. And then she pops the bubble, and Ophelia's not at the center of anything anymore. She's been safely pulled out of the stream, and she is lying slumped to one side of the room.
Well, yeah. Up next, I want to call on Cameron.
In fact, actually, I'm just for effect, I'm kind of saying that the bubble goes there, and then Humphrey like puts a paw out, and the bubble pops.
Okay, cool. That's a good detail to add.
Because cats, it's like.
So much time warping. I could see that Cameron would be worried about Hope using like her powers so extensively. But right now he's just super busy punching this pyramid. And
yeah.
and I think we can see him just like I mean, he would be big enough. So after the Superman punch, he's just standing there and just like, throwing one punch after another, and just giving it his all, and like super focused and just shattering the pyramid.
I think like every punch, that visage of your sister like flickers in static, but she is snarling out like not your name but your epithet, the one that's been given to you by your people. She's shouting, and only you can understand it, Cameron. She's shouting, "World Killer!" But like her visage flickers and fades as you punch and destroy the time anchor.
So, I mean, to not having to hear that, Cameron's just shouting, "Now is not the time. It's not that time. Hope told me this is not the time." And then, just hopefully at some point she will disappear and the pyramid will just fall to pieces.
Shard, you have made it to your friends. They're punching an upside down pyramid in this dungeon. Alexander Payton is there on his knees. The real Ophelia has been saved. There is a screaming other crocodile man, and Una's a worm who is connected with the time streams.
There is still the power. I can still see the powers running through here, right?
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm setting them on fire.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I think like you can see the ley lines that are like spread around the music, right? They center around that broken down wizened wizard on his knees over there. I'm not saying you set him on fire, but you're setting the magic around him on fire. Right?
Yeah, I'm not setting him on fire, just his magic.
Yeah. What does that look like when? Because we've seen you playing with fire, but have we seen you like actually use it? You
No,
know?
not so far. I haven't so far, but I'm a bit. Yeah, I'm not feeling too well, to be honest. I'm just like a soldier who goes through the routine of fighting even after he's so exhausted that actually he's just basically almost dead on his feet. But Shard arrives as this tiny little fast shadow creature, turns into a human-looking man surrounded by fire, and that I might even be sort of choosing that for him, really.
Yeah, maybe you don't realize that you're in this shape.
No, but there's fire all around him, and then he looks with these fire eyes that he had all the time. He looks over at Alexander and he says, "Oh no, I don't think so." And then he twists his hand, and there is some fire appearing, and it's fire, right? It's normal seeming fire, but it's more fire. It's more like the essence of fire. And then he just flicks a bit into Alexander's direction, and it just goes along these ley lines, and they are visible for a brief moment to everyone. And then you see all around Alexander ash just crumbling down. And I think Alexander will notice that his magic is burned out, so I don't know how he will react.
I imagine it's as if someone set a torch to an invisible spider web that burned up all at once.
Yeah. Oh, that's a cool image. I think we got like this aerial shot of like seeing Wizard World and the ley lines. It kind of just burn away, and I think, gosh, Huna, do you want to add one more detail to all this?
I don't think we need to. I think that is a perfect image to round out with.
Yeah, I think like we just got things like if this was like a comic book, we're jumping mediums. I'm sorry. We get like this just like final shot of like I think the four of you looking the most comic book hero bullshit sang together. Alexander Payton on his knees, just wheezing as if like life has caught up with him. This anchor, the pyramid is kind of curled in on itself thanks to the repeated punching and the backlash of the magic. Ophelia is safe, and I think the balmy fog around Wizard World breaks, and the apocalypse has been forestalled for now. Let's go to end of session. And the next week we'll pick up how these characters are doing. They look and feel triumphant right now, but who knows? Let's do end of session then, if that's okay with folks. Okay. So I'm just gonna ask the question, and you tell me if it's yes or no. So answer the following. For every yes, mark 1 XP. Did you express your monstrous nature or your humanity? Gee, I wonder which one. Gosh, y'all being awesome. Did you learn something significant about yourself or your impending doom? Gee, I mean, maybe it's a bit more fungible for some, but I think we were all learned quite a bit. God. Did you learn something significant about a fellow monster?
Afraid not. No, I didn't have a lot of. No, I was with Una, but I mean, I learned that she liked riding a slide, but I don't think that's very significant.
That's fair.
And her showdown with Cassandra didn't show you anything.
No, but it told Hope something. Even though Hope doesn't know what happens. Just even Shard asking to be allowed to do that on her own. And Hope understood that so very much.
Like I said, so working on the honor system and that, like, I trust y'all to answer for characters. Okay. Answer the following for every no you may choose to mark Doom. Did you uncover at least one key of the apocalypse or attempt to open Doom's door? I think everyone except for Cameron. Oh no, Cameron did. Did Cameron?
I didn't uncover a key, and I
You
guess
did.
we, as a group, we opened Doom's door, right?
Yeah,
But you rolled.
But that I distinctly remember that addition was added because I talked to Jamie because I didn't uncover a key, but I rolled to unlock Doom's door. I'm like, I should be allowed to mark Doom for that, or to not to be not to not.
Yeah.
So, but it's still a choice. You can choose to say you don't have to mark Doom. If you say no to this question, it's just there if you want to slide your character further into oblivion. Did you completely deny what the darkness demands of you?
I think I did.
Yeah, I think Shard
I
did.
think I did. Damn.
Yeah,
I think
Hope
I did
sure
too.
didn't.
Well, you know.
Hope had a awful moment.
Yeah. I think Cameron did. He was all, no, you're ahead of schedule. Away with you.
Yeah. No apocalypse today, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, apocalypse later, not apocalypse now.
Yeah. Well, Cameron learned a lot in all possible directions today, I guess.
Yes.
I learned that Una, which he admires, is part reptilian. So that is something for sure will come up in the future.
Well, I mean, the many forms of mythical animals include reptilian.
Maybe angels are reptiles. Who knows? Just because they're depicted in human pictures as human.
Okay. Sorry, tabs. Did you reach for the light with someone?
I did not. And I wonder if this is the moment where I'm taking my second Doom thingy, Doom move.
Do you think so?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Let me. Do I have to take these Doom moves in the order
No.
they are?
No.
Okay. Okay, I could take another Doom move from another playbook if I wanted to.
Yes.
Yeah, I took my
Okay,
Doom
cool.
from another place.
Okay, cool. Then I think about it because I'm not sure if I want to go there. But we only have 3 sessions left, yeah?
Two.
Two?
Yeah. Yes, this is the 3rd session. We have 5.
Doom twins leaving.
Oh, I'm so confused. Yeah, then I'm taking another one. Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I did say no, you weren't here because I said to the previous group that like I'm kind of like run these like every 2 to 3 months, just kind of like a big semi-casual open table. Jump in, let's do some mysteries. So don't just
treat
because
your
like
character like a stolen car.
yeah. With like maybe they'll come back, or maybe just drive them down the steep hill and see what happens.
I mean, there is a way to get back from even these doom marks, right?
Yes, and that was again added specifically because I was moaning to Jam and being like, "Oh, I didn't know we were gonna have another series of this. I wouldn't have taken so many Doom moves."
Mhm.
So and they were like, "Okay, fine, yeah, well, I'll add that a way to get rid of Doom moves." Okay, I think yeah, that's it. We're a bit over times, but so we'll wrap up this session here. Thank you all so much. Jesus, that run the gamut of ridiculous and amazing. Thank you all so much. Again, to anyone who's watched this, thank you all for watching and listening. Check out Godwit, check out Apocalypse Keys. There'll be a link in the description. Thank you all. I'm gonna stop recording. Bye, YouTube.